fastest show in sports.
And there it is, for all the world to see. Bill Belichick takes the sideline as the head coach of the University of North Carolina. It's a sold-out stadium. Everybody's excited. Michael Jordan is there. And the best part about this is the post-game, Mike, because all of those reporters in North Carolina are now learning what those of us who covered the New England Patriots for years have learned. Bill will never tell you anything of substance in the post-game press conference.
We competitively, but then just couldn't sustain it. So obviously we have a lot of work to do. We need to do a better job all the way around, coaching, playing, all three phases of the game. Just wasn't up to what it needs to be, and I know we're a lot better than that. So we'll need to work on those things and show it on Saturday and a quick turnaround. But give TCU credit; they came in and did a good job, and they were clearly the better team tonight. They deserved to win, and they did it decisively. Anytime you give up 2 turnovers or touchdowns offensively, that's not good. We gave up several long plays on defense, where they gained a lot of yards on one play. So just too many of those. There wasn't any one thing. It was a combination of multiple things. Too many 3-and-outs, too many long plays on defense, and then 2 turnovers. Well, we had 3 turnovers, but 2 turnovers, touchdowns. You can't overcome that.
The game itself was stunningly boring. If we go back and have to look at it, just the game itself, what happened on that field was as boring as hell. But that post-game press conference, Mike, that's Belichick. That's exactly who he is. You could have, and I swear I took time and I tried to find one of the old press conferences from the Patriots days. And I wish I could have found one, because I know that I would have played it side by side and it would have been exactly the same thing. You get nothing from Belichick, man. That's the beauty of this guy, Mike.
Yeah, the only sad part last night was with the TCU coach, Sonny Dykes, on the way out of the stadium, Jordan Hudson, Bill's girlfriend, basically yelled at him and goes, "Hey, Sonny, call me when you're this many." I'm kidding. But yeah, it was a beatdown. Ed, I don't think I've seen somebody get beat like that since, I don't know, the other side had tire irons. I mean, the North Carolina Tar Heels were the modern day equivalent of the Minutemen. All right, that's all they lasted, a minute.
But
oh my God, well, what the heck
cares?
was it? I know, but it's prime time. It's just whatever.
Well, no,
it is what it is. But
who cares? Belichick has got a team there that has 70, count them, 70 new players. He's basically starting with all rookies. He's in a program that has never been known, even in the slightest sense, for football. It's a basketball school, always has been, always will be. They've never had any luck whatsoever in football. Belichick comes in, brings his little girlfriend with him. They sell out every single game. They're rolling in the cash right now. They're getting the ACC money on top of it. And Bill doesn't care, because he knew he was going to lose this badly. Everything is upside for him from here. North Carolina fans should be shaking his hand saying, "Thank you. You put us on prime time, for crying out loud. Do whatever you want to do, man. So we'll win a few games. Big deal. Have fun."
But you know what? He could go maybe 5-6 or 4-7, for a year or two. For a year or two, but there's a professional stain if Bill can't get this turned around in some way. But you have to have a 10-win season if you're Belichick. It's Bill Belichick. Are you going to go down in history as the coach who essentially wanted to coach so badly, and you thought in your head of heads believed it was all about the Patriot system, and you have to find out it was really about Tom Brady? Oh my God, that would be a wreck.
Mike, he can't lose. He comes in here in a program that basically is at the bottom. It's never been lower. So if he wins a couple of games, that's fine. If a couple of years he builds the program up and then he decides to leave, which is what I think he's going to do anyway. I think Bill Belichick lasts 2 seasons in North Carolina. He builds it up. Wow. He brings in a younger coaching staff. Somebody else takes over. and then Belichick goes back to the NFL because he still wants to beat Don Shula's record as the winningest coach in the NFL, and he's only got maybe 4 or 5 years left before he gets too old and he can't do it anymore.
He's already in his 70s. He's going to die. He's going to be dead. He's going to be, this is a toes-up deal right now, okay? He's going to coach till he dies. He's going to be like George Allen when he went to coach with Long Beach State after all those years in Washington and thinking that he could rekindle something, and his players soaked him with a Gatorade bath after he'd won a bowl game, and he died from pneumonia. Dead.
I know,
Dead.
but Belichick can't lose in this. So he goes to college.
Yeah, you can.
And he stinks the joint
Yeah,
up.
you can.
He's still one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. Period. End of story. That's all that counts.
Jordan's going to leave him for an undergrad. He's going to lose.
Jordan may leave him for an undergrad, but that's if she doesn't get written into the will, which she may be already. And to your point,
she got
and to your point though about Tom Brady and all that. Look, it's fair to say that Belichick would not be the coach he is right now if he didn't have Tom Brady. Without Tom Brady, and here's the graphic for those of you watching on YouTube. Without Brady, he's 83 and 104. With Brady, 249 and 75. But Mike, that's also the fact that he was a head coach of the Cleveland Browns who stunk the joint up when he was there. I mean, he had a terrible franchise to work with at that point. And pre-Brady, he was 5 and 11. And what's wrong with the fact that he made more, that he got more wins with Tom Brady? Great coaches come along and they get great players. Look, if it wasn't for Joe Montana, Bill Walsh wouldn't have been one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. If it wasn't for Dan Marino, Don Shula wouldn't have been the winningest coach in NFL history. What's the big deal?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Bill Walsh won a Super Bowl without Joe Montana. He won them with Steve Young. No, actually, you know what? Take that back. I think George Seifert got that Super Bowl. I think Bill had retired. But you know what this is doing? You know what this is all doing? This is probably telling people that Joe Gibbs might be the greatest coach in NFL history. Do you know any other coach that won three different Super Bowls with different starting quarterbacks?
Maybe it's fair.
I mean that he took players and he turned them into assist as something. And you know what? Bill's still a great defensive coach. I'm not going to bet him, even though 48 points was, I've never seen.
He's got nobody to work with.
I mean,
he's got all rookies. He may as well put the diapers on these kids and work them.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody that didn't like Bill, this is a great comeuppance
but there's
for
nothing,
him.
But
I think at some point, it doesn't matter how much you make or how famous you are, Ed. If there's a professional stain on your after you're called the greatest NFL coach of all time, I don't know.
NFL. It has nothing to do with college. And not only that, look, I tell you and I will definitely disagree with this. I don't think that the argument even holds any water whatsoever. When people come up and say, well, without Tom Brady, he never would have won Super Bowls. Well, if my grandmother would have had wheels, she would have been a wagon. So guess what? I mean, this stuff just happens. You do get these great players that are either drafted or dropped in your midst, and you make the best of what you have. That's what Belichick did. And the fact that he had Brady, and he ran the offense and the defense and forged a team around Brady and what he had, he still is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history because he had Tom Brady. So saying that if he wouldn't have had Tom Brady, he wouldn't have won, that's just a lazy argument. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling kind of lazy this morning. Go ahead. We can move on to the next topic.
That's what happens when you oversleep.
That's all, folks.